Nelson Mandela's life was a journey defined by his unyielding pursuit of justice, the strength of his character, and the courage to fight for a free and democratic society. His story is one of resilience, sacrifice, and an unwavering belief in equality, and it has become one of the most inspiring tales of the 20th century. Born on July 18th, 1918, in the small village of Mbizo in the eastern Cape of South Africa, Mandela came from humble beginnings. He was part of the Thembu royal family, but his early life was not one of luxury. His father, a local chief, passed away when Mandela was young, and he was sent to live with the region of the Thembu people. It was there that he first encountered the responsibilities of leadership and the deep inequalities of the apartheid system. Mandela attended school and became the first member of his family to go to university, where his education sparked his growing awareness of racial injustice. It was during his time in Johannesburg that Mandela became involved in activism, joining the African National Congress in 1943. The ANC was committed to ending the deeply entrenched system of apartheid, which segregated South Africa along racial lines and denied the black majority basic rights. Mandela's early years in the ANC were spent in various leadership roles, and by 1944, he co founded the ANC Youth League, determined to inspire a generation of young leaders committed to social change. However, as the years passed, the government's harsh suppression of protests and its brutal laws only deepened Mandela's resolve. He began to believe that the struggle for freedom would require more than peaceful protests. The turning point came in 1960 after the Sharpeville massacre, in which police killed 69 unarmed black South Africans during a peaceful protest against past laws. The brutality of the massacre pushed Mandela and the ANC to rethink their strategy, and in 1961, Mandela co-founded Umkhonto we Sizwe, the militant wing of the ANC. It focused on acts of sabotage against government infrastructure in order to cripple the apartheid regime. In 1962, Mandela was arrested for his role in the sabotage campaign. In 1963, he and several other ANC leaders were put on trial for sabotage and conspiracy to overthrow the government in what became known as the Rivonia trial. Despite facing the death penalty, Mandela refused to back down or betray his ideals. In his closing statement, Mandela spoke powerfully about his vision for South Africa.
I have fought against white domination, and I have fought against black domination. I have cherished the ideal of a democratic and free society in which all persons live together in harmony and with equal opportunities. It is an ideal which I hope to live for and to achieve. But if needs be, it is an ideal for which I am prepared to die.
In June 1964, Mandela was sentenced to life imprisonment and sent to the infamous Robben Island prison. For 27 years, he endured hard labor, living in a small cell and working in a lime quarry under harsh conditions. Though his physical health suffered, Mandela's spirit remained unbroken. His commitment to justice and his belief in a better future for South Africa gave him the strength to endure. While Mandela was imprisoned, the world took notice. His case became a symbol of the global struggle against apartheid. Protests and campaigns for his release spread worldwide, and the pressure on the South African government grew. Throughout his years in prison, Mandela became a beacon of hope for millions. He continued to inspire those who fought for freedom, even from behind bars. Despite enduring immense suffering, Mandela's focus remained on the cause, not on hatred or revenge. His capacity for forgiveness and understanding became a key part of his leadership. By the 1980s, apartheid was beginning to collapse under the weight of both internal resistance and international pressure. Economic sanctions, boycotts, and the growing unrest in South Africa signaled that the regime could no longer sustain its power. In 1990, after 27 years of imprisonment, the South African government finally agreed to release Mandela. On February 11th, 1990, a free man at the age of 71, Mandela walked out of prison with his head held high, symbolizing the beginning of the end for apartheid. However, Mandela did not seek revenge. Instead, he reached out to former adversaries with a message of reconciliation. He knew that the future of South Africa could only be built on forgiveness and unity. He worked closely with President F.W. de Klerk, the leader of the apartheid government, to negotiate the peaceful dismantling of the regime. In 1994, South Africa held its first fully democratic elections, and Mandela was elected as the country's first black president. His presidency marked the triumph of justice, equality, and reconciliation. Rather than focusing on the wounds of the past, Mandela worked tirelessly to unite a deeply divided nation, promoting peace and healing. Mandela served only one term as president, stepping down voluntarily in 1999. His commitment was never to power, but to the future of his people. After his presidency, he continued to advocate for human rights, focusing on issues such as HIV, AIDS, education, and global peace. Nelson Mandela's legacy is not just in his political achievements, but in his humanity. He showed the world that even in the face of unimaginable adversity, it is possible to rise above bitterness and hatred. His journey teaches us that true greatness is not found in power, but in the strength to stand for what is right, even when the odds seem insurmountable. Mandela passed away on December 5th, 2013, at the age of 95. But his message of hope, perseverance, and forgiveness lives on, continuing to inspire generations across the globe. His life is a reminder that the fight for justice, freedom, and equality is a lifelong journey, one worth every sacrifice. Nelson Mandela's triumph over adversity proves that a single individual can indeed change the course of history, and that the power of hope, resilience, and love can overcome even the greatest challenges.